one of the things that came up in the conference that I was at was how often to post. And I remember when social media just started becoming a thing that businesses could even utilize and try to build that trust with our consumer base. And there were companies saying, oh, you should post every day. Post about what every day? Like, legitimately, what should you post every day? Like, there comes a time where you're going to hit a wall and you're going to run out of content, and then that's when people disengage. I've always been about quality over quantity for just about everything. The amount of clients that you're selling cars to, the amount of accounts that you can service at any instance, the amount of cars you can work on, the amount of leads you can handle, the amount of posts you make any given day, any given week. I don't think daily posting, this is my opinion, and this is apparently from the conference I was at, the opinion of a lot of other people. I would suggest posting 3 times a week. At the very most, 3 times a week. You can schedule these posts out. You can plan them out. And in fact, I highly suggest developing a calendar of what you want to post and the process behind that. Like, what are you going to exactly post? Are you going to post any assets? Do you need to recut a video? Do you need to shoot the video? Like, things like that needs to be all planned out and accounted for in a timeline. And there's far too many times where I see people going after daily posts, but they legit have nothing to say, nothing to add, if all you're doing is trying to sell a car, I mean, I honestly, you're going about social media wrong. If your only intention is to sell a car off your social media post, you would be more inclined and more adept if you actually legitimately just went out in the street and grabbed somebody off the street and tried to run their credit and tried to drive them in a car, things like that. That would probably be more successful than trying to sell a car on social media. And I know that's not a popular opinion. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, why in the hell would I post on social media if not to sell a car? Let me ask you something. And this is a question to answer probably on a regular basis, it sounds like, for some salespeople that I've gotten feedback on that from. How many cars do you think one family buys in their entire lifetime? So if one family buys 8 to 10 cars, that's just the statistic. Now, I'm not talking about people in the car business. We buy like 10 times that. But one family typically buys 8 to 10 cars in their lifetime. So do you want to be the dealership that sold them one car once, made a good profit on it, and then never sold them anything again because you buried them so deep in the car? Not only did they never want to buy from you again, they didn't even want to buy that brand again. They won't even service with you because you ripped them off so badly. Or you gave them a good deal. You didn't lose your pants on it, but you gave them a good deal. You treated them fairly. They're in a position where they can trade the car in 3-4 years and come back and buy another one. Now imagine if you had 100 customers that did that. Now imagine if you had 1,000. Where I'm going with this is, if you treat customers like all they are is a paycheck, like all they are, and I know there's a trend going around right now where car salesmen are posting their paychecks and bragging about how much they make. Dude, yeah, nobody wants to hear that. At least nobody who's ever bought a car. So I think that's a pretty broad stroke of how many people don't want to hear that. So the idea of posting how much you make as a car salesman and bragging on people like, I make 30 grand a month, or I sold 34 cars and I made 60 grand a month, or whatever it is. If you want to be transparent about it, that's your prerogative, but that's not how the posts are coming across. They're coming across like you're a baller, like you're a gangster, like you're an OG, you make so much money, and it just makes you look like a douche. that that's out of the way. Posting that you're a car salesman, posting about educational things to a consumer, like how they can check their tread wear depth, when it's time to trade in a car as opposed to it's time to service the car. So, and if you don't know that, use AI. AI should be your best assistant, should be pretty much your only assistant. The assistant you can afford to pay, because you don't have to pay for it. Anyway, so posting that subject matter expert type content that allows the consumer to see you as a subject matter expert, not just with car sales, but with cars. That's really what you should be looking for, is the subject matter expert with cars. And if you're posting that, if you're talking about that, you're talking about the safety feature, the new safety features on the K4 versus the Forte, the iPad holders that are on the rear head seat restraints as opposed to the rear entertainment systems that used to be in cars. If you're talking about the way the seats fold down in the back now, you don't have to take fold them down into the floor, or fold the seats out or anything like that. You just have to fold them down and you get a flat surface if they have dogs. If you want to talk about the tread wear depth on the tires, if you want to talk about a million different things that you can make a 2 and 3 minute video about in a car to show people how to utilize all the features of their car, that's going to earn you that trust in that subject matter expert role that you need in order to build your book of business. Because people want to buy from people they trust. So if you're utilizing social media the right way, which is to build trust, then that's going to earn you that trust. But other than that, I mean, there's a lot of instances on social media that I see that are just, I don't know what your intent is by posting that. I saw one where he posted and I had to look it up because I heard about it at this conference I was at. Like, sales guys are posting their paychecks and bragging about how they're balling and stuff. And I'm like, do you honestly think that somebody, like, what is your intention with posting that? You're hoping to get girls to look at you? Yeah, they probably will, but do you really want a girl looking at you just for your paycheck? Like, okay, I guess maybe if you're like 22 or something, but yeah, that's not really the way you should be looking at it. Not my life, not my world, but yeah. Anyway, I digress. If you want to be seen as a subject matter expert, if you want people to be coming to look for you to buy a car from, start utilizing your social media to build trust. Make your videos educational. They all don't have to be about the current TikTok trend. They all don't have to be educational. They all don't have to be sales pitchy. You should have 100% of them should be none of those things. They should all be all of those things, but a portion of it. You should have a little bit of your sales pitch so you know what you do. You should have a lot of education, and you should have a lot of funny. And here's the big thing that a lot of people, well, I don't know that much about cars, or I'm not that funny. Start learning, start trying, start posting. Just grab your phone. Everybody who has a smartphone has the ability to shoot a video for their social media and talk about what they do and why someone should come buy a car from them, or why someone should look at the miles on their car, look at the tire tread wear on their tires, look at their battery, look at their pairing a phone with their car if they have a new phone, ideas to make a road trip better. Just little things like that can make all the difference when you're trying to establish yourself as a subject matter expert. But you have to take the time to do it. So stop being afraid of the camera. Start posting. You're gonna be bad. I'll just get that out of the way right now. You're going to be bad. What you're going to post is going to be bad. Just post it. And then start getting better. Learn what you're doing that's bad and make it better. And I'll go into more depth in my next video. Happy selling.